Hey, how's it going? This is Grant Luna with Fidelity National Title, and in today's video, I'll be revisiting Fidelity Total Farm's Ringless voicemail system. Specifically, I'll be going over a collection of scripts that you can start using for different types of homeowners that exist within your farms. So I won't be revisiting exactly how to launch the actual Ringless voicemails themselves, but it is a system that exists within Fidelity Total Farm. Check the link in the description for a video that gives a complete overview of how to get the phone numbers within each farm and how to actually move forward with launching these ringless voicemails. I go through step by step and hopefully make it as easy as possible for you. But what the system will do is, for any farm of your choosing and any farm filter within those farms that you do choose, it will deliver a voicemail to all of those phone numbers that you have within that farm. So people will get a notification on their phone and it will come from your cell phone and it will have the audio file that you've uploaded into this system. There's a link in the description to this Google Doc, and there's a small collection of scripts that you can start working with. And what I wanted to do is show you some of the filters that you can access within Fidelity Total Farm to utilize some of these scripts. There is a menu that you can actually see all of the scripts here. These are also a menu that you can click through if you wanted to read some of these. So if you wanted to see the absentee owner script, you can click this and it will navigate the page down to you. So I'll navigate to our Fidelity Total Farm system, and if you don't have a Fidelity Total Farm account, I really do recommend setting one up. There's a link in the description for a really easy to follow setup guide. You can go ahead, create that account, then revisit Fidelity Total Farm and follow along with this video. So I'm going to assume that you already have the phone numbers associated for a farm if you followed along with the Ringless voicemail video in the description. And let's say that I have this new listing that I want to start doing ringless voicemails for. So initially, I'm going to click on the farm name. I'll be brought into this farm menu. This will have a general farm overview with information about all the homeowners in the farm. Not really many distinguishing features between these types of homeowners. Initially, it's just complete farm. So you're getting that entire map area that you created. If you don't know how to create farms, there's another video in the description that shows you 4 different ways to actually go ahead and create farms. And initially, it's going to give you that farm. So not really distinguishing between property owners that actually live in that property versus property owners that live out of state, for example, versus property owners that have just moved in versus property owners that have lived there for a really long time, for example. So the nice thing about Fidelity Total Farm is it does filter that data for you. You have the ability to select some of these. So if I just wanted all of the out-of-state homeowners in a farm, for example, all I'd have to do is select out-of-state here. This will filter that data down, and now I'm just seeing all of the property owners that exist within that farm area that they themselves live out of state, so it's likely a rental property, for example. So that's how generally this works within Fidelity Total Farm. So if I want to see the entire farm, I'll go back to Complete Farm and we can start working through these scripts. So the first 4 I thought could be helpful if you have a listing and maybe you wanted to do a series of voicemails. So maybe you wanted to do a just listed, so letting people know that this house just hit the market. Maybe you would want to do open house scripts for if you're doing open houses for that listing, and then a just sold script for when you actually did end up selling that property. And so for these, not major filters that would be needed, but the main things I wanted to cover were some of the differences in the phone numbers for open house scripts, whether you're targeting homeowners or potential renters. So why this would matter is I'll go to actually buying some of the phone numbers to show you. So what I can do to purchase phone numbers for the Ringless voicemail system is select Get Phones Emails down here at the bottom of the screen. So you can select Get Phones Emails, it'll process and take you to a menu where you can see the phone numbers that you can purchase. So now you'll be taken to a menu that looks somewhat like this. Make sure you unselect email if you don't want the email addresses. We just want to focus on phone numbers initially. So here is where you would want to make sure that you're paying attention to these filters when you're deciding to work with some of these scripts. So like I said, this second script here, I want to target the actual property owners themselves versus the second script, I actually just want to target the potential renters. And that's something to be aware of when working with Fidelity Total Farm is you can get contact information for people that are renting. It will give you phone numbers, emails, and the names of those people that are probably renting. Same thing with property owners, obviously. But where that difference comes in is this address type right here. So let's say I wanted some renter information. I can make sure I select site. This will give me renters information if the property owner is an absentee owned property. If I always want the property owner's contact information, I can select mail here, and this will give me the contact information for the property owner no matter what. So let's do that first case. Maybe I just wanted to focus on the actual property owners for this open house script here. And maybe I just wanted to focus on people that live nearby the property. So I don't want to have this ringless voicemail be sent to people that are absentee owners. So what I can actually do is come to this farm here, and what I can select is occupied. Now this is going to give me a subset of this farm that is just property owners that live in the actual property near that listing. So now from here, what I can select is get phones and emails once again down here at the bottom and be taken to that menu to purchase phone numbers for the Ringless voicemail. And same thing, after I actually purchase the phone numbers, I can make sure I select Ringless voicemail here. And now this Ringless voicemail will just be sent to the owner-occupied property. So I'm not sending it to the entire farm, but a subset of that farm. This is somewhat similar behavior when I'm trying to send it to the renters. What I'd want to do is select Absentee right here at the top of the screen. So now this is a subset of the farm of property owners that they themselves don't live in the property, so it's likely rented out. So what I can do is make sure I purchase the phone numbers for this farm and choose site address. So it's essentially saying, hey, I'm choosing a subset of this farm that are absentee owned properties. None of the property owners actually live in that property. And I want the contact information for the site address. That's the property that exists within that farm. So likely the contact information is going to be that of the person renting the property. So then from here, once you actually purchase the phone numbers for that farm, and like I said, how you make sure you're choosing the site address is just change this to site. So it makes it a lot easier. You purchase the phone numbers, you come back, and then once again, make sure you have absentee selected at the top of the screen here. Choose this menu, Ringless voicemail, and then continue with that Ringless voicemail system. So that's how this would work for these first 4, just listed, just sold. That's up to you. If you want to send it to the entire farm, I think it's worth doing. Same with the just sold script. But these 2 right here, it's important just to be aware of the difference between owner occupancy versus absentee, and mail address and site address. If any of that was confusing, please just leave a comment under the video. I'd be happy to explain more. So the next script is the Homeowner Exemption LA County script. If you don't know what a homeowner's exemption is, I actually have, I think, an entire playlist on my YouTube channel where I go into what a homeowner's exemption is, what the benefits are, how to find eligible homeowners. Really quickly, what it does is it reduces a homeowner's assessed property tax value by $7,000. So not a major actual savings benefit, but it does come into play with different things like tax savings if you're a property owner or Proposition 19. So it is still a useful thing to have filed for your property. And luckily, Fidelity Total Farm does have a homeowner exemption filter. All you have to do is select homeowner exemption here. And so now this is going to give you a subset of that farm where these are people that haven't filed their homeowner's exemption. So initially, I think this farm was almost 2,000 people. Now it's just 417 records down here at the bottom. Same thing, now I can just make sure I have homeowner's exemption selected and then just choose that Ringless voicemail option right here. And now I'm sending a Ringless voicemail just to the people that haven't filed their homeowner's exemption. The next script is a home purchase anniversary script. So this is a voicemail that you can send to people that have a home anniversary coming up sometime this month. And luckily, once again, Fidelity Total Farm does have that filter for you. So if you go to Farm Filters up here at the top of the page, and then this filters drop down right here. There's actually further filters that exist within the Fidelity Total Farm system, and the specific one that you'd want to look for is anniversary. So now, once again, you can look at this number down here, far smaller than that entire farm size. And now what this is a subset of the farm of people that have a home anniversary coming up this month. And where you can actually see that is if you scroll over on the right within this actual data set here and look for sales date right here. And if you see, all of these sales dates right here will be the month that it is right now. So this is January, so all of these people have a home anniversary that is in some time in January. Some people it's very recent, it's the last year. Some people it might be 40 plus years. But same thing, what I can do, click this drop down, send a Ringless voicemail to people that have a home anniversary coming up this month and take advantage of this script here. Absentee owner script, this one is going to be pretty simple. All you'd have to do is select absentee up at the top of the page right here. Now this will give me a list or a subset of this farm of property owners that own a farm in that farm area that I created, but they themselves don't live there. So it's likely a rental property, a vacation home, a second home, whatever it may be. Now, if I wanted to send a Ringless voicemail just to the absentee owners, make sure I have the absentee filter selected. Come to this menu at the top right here, select Ringless voicemail, then move forward with that Ringless voicemail menu. Next, the I have a buyer script. So this, in my opinion, was a script that you can use if you're working with a buyer and you're looking for a way to find an off-market opportunity for that buyer client. So what they might have is a specific neighborhood in mind that they're trying to find a home for. You want to call homeowners that might be open to hearing an offer and selling their home off-market. And so what you can actually do within Fidelity Total Farm is create that farm around the neighborhood that your client is interested in. And let's say they're really interested in a specific type of home. So maybe they need a 3-bed, 2-bath house that has 1,500 plus square feet in a pool. The nice thing is Fidelity Total Farm actually allows you to filter and create a custom filter for property types. And so that's within this filter icon right here at the top right of the screen. So what I can do is have that general farm for that neighborhood created, and then just create that sub filter right here for that property type. So I can select this filter icon. I have a bunch of filters created, but I'm going to really quickly create one just to show you how it works. I'll press this plus button. I'll come in here to column, and this is where you can create the characteristics that you want properties to match. So it's going to be properties that are 3 beds. Like I said, I'll choose plus to add a new characteristic for this filter. So baths, like I said, is 2. I'll press plus to add a new filter icon, has pool, and let's say equals check mark. So then there, and I'll say 3 bed, 2 bath, pool filter. Name it here, select save, and then I should find it right here, 3 bed, 2 bath filter. I'm gonna go back to complete farm, basically just to do a reset and get the entirety of that farm. Once you create that filter, it's available to you in every farm that you have within Fidelity Total Farm. So I'll select this filter icon, 3 bed, 2 bath pool filter, apply. And so now this is going to filter down. So instead of the whatever it was, 2,000 or so properties, now it's just 24 properties. So this is the specific property type my client is interested in. And all I have to do is select the share button now, Ringless voicemail, same thing, use the script, and now send it off to those homeowners. Longtime homeowner Proposition 19 script. So this is centered around people that have owned their property for a really long time. So they likely have a low assessed tax value and they're likely 55 years or older. So in this case, they're primed for something like Proposition 19. If you don't really know what Proposition 19 is, there's a full playlist on my YouTube channel that you can check out that shows you what Prop 19 is in detail and gives you a ton of helpful information that you can start giving to homeowners. So what I can do to find people that are likely eligible for Prop 19 is select farm filters up at the top of the page right here. Then in this filters drop-down menu, select empty nesters 25 plus. And so what this is giving you is a subset of this farm of people that have owned their home for at least 25 years or more. And so what this is likely going to tell you is 2 things. They have a very low assessed value, and that's something you can actually see within this farm data here. So if you scroll to the right and go to assessed value and land value, the combination of those 2 is their current assessed value. If you do the math on these, you'll see that their assessed value is likely way lower than the actual property value. That's usually what the case is for people that have lived there for a long time. Prop 19 is something that allows them to take that low assessed value with them to new properties, just something really helpful. And so what I can do is make sure they have this empty nester filter selected. Also make sure you change the occupancy to occupied right here, because Prop 19 is only able to be utilized if you live in that primary residence as your home. So now I have this empty nester occupied filter combination. This is 446 people out of the 2,000. Same thing. Now I can come to this share button, select Ringless voicemail, send this off to people. Ready to relist script is only available if you do have the premium version of Fidelity Total Farm, which is $19.99 a month. There's a lot of other features that come with it, but some of them that do come with it are the ability to access some of these premium filters that exist within Fidelity Total Farm. Other things you have access to is it does allow you to pull things like automated value model for the home, giving you a general ability to tell people what their home is worth, how much people have remaining on their loans, what their loans rate is, what their loan to value is, the amount of equity they have, etc. But one of the filters that it does give you is ready to relist right here. And what this filter gives you is properties that have been on the market sometime in the last couple of years, and now property owner still lives there, but it's no longer on the market. So essentially it's saying some person put it on the market, but they still live there, so they must have taken that home off the market. So either it was canceled, withdrawn, or expired. So I can click this ready to relist filter. Now it's 97 properties out of those roughly 2,000 properties. And now all I have to do is, once again, come to this menu, select Ringless voicemail, record the Ringless voicemail based off of this script that exists here. Same goes for all of these other ones, and you're pretty much good to go. And what I recommend doing to make this a little bit easier is if you do decide to really work with a farm and start sending these Ringless voicemails out, is to just purchase the phone numbers for the entire farm just ahead of time. So that way when you start working through and filtering like homeowners exemption, Proposition 19, etc., you don't have to keep purchasing phone numbers for all of these subsets of the farm. If you've purchased them for the entirety of the farm, each time you do decide to filter that data down, you'll already have the phone numbers associated with the entirety of that farm. So hopefully this is helpful for you as you start moving forward and trying to expand your farming efforts this year and moving forward. If you have any issues with this, maybe you get stuck somewhere along this way, or anything that I said in this video was confusing, please feel free to leave a comment under the video. I'm happy to help out any way that I can.